We wrap up the defensive line with my top edge rushers in the 2024 NFL draft. Let's go ahead and get into this sucker with number 10, Gabriel Murphy out of UCLA, and he edges out a couple of other guys for this spot simply because he's got better size at 6'3", 260, and he's a much better run defender. He was probably one of the better run defenders in this class. He spent 3 years at North Texas, then decided to transfer to UCLA in 2022, along with his twin brother, Grayson, who actually doesn't make it on this list because, well, Murphy just had a breakout year where he had 61 pressures, 7 sacks. He had a 36% pass rush win rate on true pass rush and snaps. That basically takes out the whole influence from the run game. So we're talking like true one-on-ones. He had a phenomenal year. Dude's got a plus first step, displays good closing speed in the passing game. I love his pursuit speed in the run game, and he's just so sudden and violent with his hands. Like he's really gotten a good feel how to like work maybe inside counters or when he's like stalled on his initial rush. But he works good leverage, knows how to get low, and he put on some weight. The anchor was so much better this year for him. And another reason why he kind of edges out a couple of these other guys for this 10 spot is, shockingly, he has a ton of reps on special team. Like, even if he ends up just being like a rotation piece in the pass rush, he's going to be a key contributor on a lot of field goal and punt units. So just that added value just gives so much. However, while I don't think he's a high-end athlete. I think at least he doesn't have these elite traits. I think he's got a plus skill set, not like a high-end skill set. Not the bendiest guy. The length will probably be around 33 inches, so right around average. The change of direction's like okay. There's a lot of reps on tape where he just kind of gets ridden past the pocket, even when he gets that good first step. And he's been flagged 19 times over the last 3 seasons. That's a ludicrous number. But got a third round grade on him because, well, I feel like one way or another he's going to see a lot of playing time his first year. At number 9, I have Darius Robinson out of Missouri. Coming in at 6'5", 296 pounds. You might be like, hold up. That boy's a little heavy to be playing out on the edge. Well, I got him as a 5-tech slash like 3-4 end. And I was much lower on him coming into the season because Mizzou, they widely used him in the B gap, 3-tech. And then this year they kicked him a little more outside, a little further away from the ball. And his pass rush win rate jumped from 11% to 16.2% this year. It's a big increase. Solid. Like he has a lot of length, a lot of strength, a lot of power in that frame. And despite being tall, he's kind of flexible. He can get low. And he delivers a nasty bull rush. Because, length, leverage, power, sounds good to me. Might not be the most explosive guy in terms of his first step. But at 290, you kind of got to remember, 290, he's kind of big, so yeah. Plus, he's probably one of the best run defenders in this class. Like, truly, really good. One of the things I didn't love about him was there are times where he'll dip his head when initiating contact. And, when you dip your head, you're just not going to be able to read and react well. Like, you're not going to know where the ball is. You're not going to be able to locate the ball when you're looking at the ground. So that was one of the things I was like, does that a little bit too much. But all in all, man, I get why people really like him. And I think there's a specific role for him in the NFL. So these 3-4 teams are going to have him probably higher on their board. I got a third round grade on him. I could see him going like top 50 potentially. At number 8, I got Marshawn Kneeland out of Western Michigan, coming in at 6'3", 275. So we got another big boy. Now, fun fact about this guy, he also participated in track and field in high school where he was a regional champ in the 400 meter and high jump. typically you're looking at these big boys in the trenches and you're like, oh, okay, they participate in track and field. So we're talking like shot put, discus, javelin. So this man ran around the track real fast. God dang, not half bad. He spent all 5 years at Western Michigan. 2022 was kind of a breakout year for him, but he was looking to transfer, was going to join Deion Sanders in Boulder. But the new coaching staff at Western Michigan did a good job making a pitch on keeping him. And he ends up playing in 10 games this season where he ends up making a second team all MAC. Did miss 2 games with an arm injury, but you're dealing with a guy that is just stupid powerful. He loves to win by just simply manhandling and overwhelming blockers physically. Like, he might have some of the strongest hands in this class. His strikes put blockers on their heels almost like right from the point of attack. Like, he effectively keeps blockers' hands out of his pads so well, just so well. Very solid first step. Does a good job of turning speed into power. And as a run defender, he has been really darn good. And that's the thing. That's why you see some of these guys that are making this back end of the list. As you'll see, there's kind of a drop off. Like, this is the drop off, and then you're gonna see a big jump. Like, the next prospects on my list are top 50. Well, these guys are like more mid to late 3rd round for me. But big reason that guys like Robinson, Murphy are ahead of guys like Adisa Isaac, Nelson Caesar, Javon Solomon is size, and they can play the run. They're 3-down players. But when it comes to some of the things that I didn't love, he isn't, like, no kidding. This guy built at 275. He's not going to be the most flexible, bendiest pass rusher. But honestly, for his weight, it's not half bad. I will say if he can't win with power, then he really does struggle to free himself from blocks and engagement. And if I'm to be honest, I don't think he's someone who should put on more weight and play interior full time. I think we're talking about another guy that will function as like a 5-tech, 3-4 end. Or even if you're going to be like a base 4-3 team, you want to get creative with him and just where you utilize him. But all in all, man, he's going to be at the Senior Bowl, and I can't wait. But before we get into number 7, if you want to know more about these prospects, I got good news for you. I got a draft guide. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice, hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment, and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always, technically. It's a Google spreadsheet, so send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase, and it's a great way to support the channel. Number 7, Jonah Elliss out of Utah, coming in at 6'2", 246. But I won't be shocked if he measures out bigger, because Utah listed him at that size, and I was like, he looks a heck of a lot taller than 6'2". He looks closer to like 255 than 246. But I guess we'll see. I think he accepted an invite to the Shrine, so that's going to be fun. But as you can see, I got a top 50 grade on him. There is this big fall off after him where I think we'll see this drought in like midday 2 where no one's really taking these edge defenders potentially. But for Ellis, football runs in his family. His father, Luther, played defensive tackle for Utah and was a first-round pick by the Detroit Lions in the 1995 NFL draft. His dad played 10 years in the league, and he also has 3 older brothers whom you may have heard of. Probably Caden Ellis, who plays for the Falcons right now at linebacker, but his other brothers, Noah, was a big, meaty defensive tackle at Idaho who was initially signed by the Eagles. And then you have his other brother, Christian, who played linebacker at Idaho, and he was actually with the Eagles too for a little bit. So it just runs through his blood, but he might end up being the best among them. He is a true junior, and hot diggity dog, man. He is twitched up. He is so twitched up. Like, he has light footwork, nice change of direction. He's like almost uncontainable with how quick his strikes are, how quick he moves. Like, legit, it feels like his quicks are just rare. Really does. And he does a good job using his length. Had a solid year where he had 13 sacks. But I think there's quite a few things he needs to iron out in his game. A lot of times he just stops his rush because he thinks the play is over for whatever reason and just loses track of where the quarterback is or where the football is in the backfield. So I'd like to see a little bit more awareness of what's going on in the backfield. I'd like to see a little bit more violence from his hands. There are just times where he's stonewalled and feels like he just locks up rather than trying to break free. And if he does end up coming in at 246, I'll be shocked. He has the frame to put on more pounds, so he probably should. Because it is too often he gets hit, he hits blockers in their strike zone and they don't move that much. So he could have like these like very active hands, but if the blocker ain't feeling it, then what are you really doing? Or some like Jedi mind trick? Like, nah, I ain't working like that. Number 6, I got Chop Robinson out of Penn State, coming in at 6'3", 250. Got a top 50 grade on him. He's gonna probably be in like the 30 to 40 range for me. So basically fringe first rounder. And to be honest, like a lot of that is just him refining his game, his like run defense. Like occasionally he'll run himself out of the play. So like just kind of like give up his gap or his gap integrity and just kind of like shoot up field prematurely. But we've all been there, right? Anywho, he also has a tough time defeating blocks and just kind of gets washed out. So I would like to see him improve in that. He could probably improve his hand placement. Like, honestly, his hands need a little bit more polish. He could probably add a little bit more pass rush moves, more counters. And he just feels a little bit more like a project right now. And that's kind of why I have him as like a DPR early on in the league. Someone you're probably going to want to develop, but you could have him on the field for passing downs because he can really get after it. Like, he might have the most explosive first step in this class. He is twitched up. He explodes off the line. Great bend. Plays with really good leverage. Will get low, dip. Hard to put a hand on in general. Has one of the filthiest spin moves you will see in this class, and just plays with a huge motor. There's no quit in him. He was pretty solid last couple of years for Penn State, but again, that consistency kind of went up and down. Did have a 21% pass rush win rate this season. It's just production didn't look at all that impressive. To be fair, he did miss a couple of games with an undisclosed injury, but the dude be really good. Number 5, I have Bralen Trice out of Washington, coming in at 6'4", 274. And he was formerly a 3-star recruit from the 2019 class. Ended up going to Washington's been there for the last 5 years. He was a first-team All Pac-12 in 2021. And then he was there once again. So good on you. But you can tell this is a big boy. And since arriving at Washington, he has packed on 50 pounds of pure, unadulterated muscle. That's right. Unadulterated muscle, man. He is strong, and he pairs that with actually a pretty darn good step. He's got good length as well. And he routinely will turn speed into power. He will drive blockers back with a strong lower body. A guy that just keeps moving his legs through contact, keeps churning and driving those legs. And I love that. I love, regardless of position, I love anyone who will continue to drive their legs through contact. I think it's just something that's irrelevant what position it's at. It's something you would like to see. He packs a lot of power in those hands. You saw pretty darn good usage with that hands. If you remember 2022, he had a club on his right hand, and it didn't matter. He had one of the most ridiculous pass rush win rates that last year. And I don't know if it's that karate. He's got a karate background, so maybe he just knows how to use his hands. I mean, he's got that like Austin Powers judo chop. He controls the point of attack pretty darn well, does a great job sending the edge. And so, honestly, the biggest concerns with me is sometimes he plays with high pads, doesn't get great leverage, so you'd like to see him just do a better job of maintaining leverage. Not the most flexible guy, I would say, in this class, and he's definitely more of a straight line athlete than he is a guy that's going to just bend. Like, I think his athleticism is fine for the NFL level. I just don't think it's an elite level of athleticism. Also, his missed tackle rate's kind of ridiculous, 26.1 throughout his whole career. And he is also someone who will just kind of get stuck in engagement versus the run. And like, he's got the ability to stack and shed. Just sometimes in the run game, you don't see it quite often. Don't have a first round grade on him, but he's probably a fringe first rounder at this point. But before we get into my top 4, what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. I did release my defensive tackles rankings earlier today. If you want to go check that out, let's go ahead, get into number 4. Chris Braswell got I got a top 50 grade on him, so I only got 3 first round grades, or I guess 3 edge players with first round grades. He is a former 5-star recruit, and to be fair, this is a guy that I think has the athletic traits and the physical tools to be a lot more. So he made Bruce Feldman's freaks list for his explosiveness, whether it was like his vert, how much he squats, 700 pounds, by the way, and power cleans over 400 pounds. Like, he's got a very quick first step. He shows a good flexibility. I think he's someone that can bend the edge very effectively, and we saw that. I mean, dude had 13 sacks this past season. And he is a much improved run defender from 2022, where he was kind of just a rotation player, but still. And he's a good finisher, and when you have good length, typically you're going to be a good wrapper upper. He just has the ideal frame and athletic traits for the position, where if he's going in the first round, that's not going to surprise me none. However, there is a bit of unpolish with him still. As keep in mind, this is a cat that really just became a starter, full-time starter this past season. So he can be fooled by misdirection or motion or play action. He doesn't really seem to have a consistent approach, pass rush plan going into his pass rushes. And oftentimes you feel like he's just kind of getting by with the physical and athletic traits, which are really good though. But that's not going to cut it at the next level. He does get caught on free releases when he ends up just kind of in the backfield sooner than expected. So you will sometimes overrun plays, just getting upfield too quick and beating the play before it gets there. But all in all, man, this is a really good prospect who enjoyed a breakout year this past season. Number 3, I got Laiatu Latu out of UCLA, coming in at 6'5", 265 pounds. He will be at the Senior Bowl, and I can't wait, because he is probably one of the best technicians in this class. Let's talk about the neck real quick, because that's kind of the big red flag when it comes to him. He initially started his career at Washington in 2019, but in 2020, he unfortunately suffered a neck injury and wouldn't be cleared by Washington. They were like, no, man, we're not going to put you back on the field here. If you want to go play, you're going to have to go play elsewhere. So he did return to football as Dr. Robert Watkins, if you're familiar with him. He did Peyton Manning's neck surgery, and he basically gave Latu the A-OK. Hey, if you want to resume your playing career, go right ahead. So he transfers to UCLA, and he has not been hurt the past 2 years. And his production has been out of this world. So I guess the combine medicals will be kind of key. We'll see, but the dude's production has just been absolutely ludicrous. 15 sacks this past season. Oh, here, I'll let you out, Gojo. You don't want to hear. Like, Latu is light on his feet. Shows actually a pretty solid burst, because that's going to be one of the other criticisms. While, like, he's just not going to have the top end, high end, elite athletic traits as some of the other guys in this area, like a Braswell and like two guys I'm going to mention later. But again, he makes up for it just by being a really, really good technician, man. How he uses his hands. He has got a large variety of finesse moves and uses them all extremely, extremely well. He had a true pass rush win rate of 39.3% this past season. That's the top in this class. I'm a big fan of him because I think he's going to be a solid player. There are some things where it's like, okay, the athletic traits aren't going to be like high end. You got to worry about the neck. Might not have an ideal anchor against the run. So how good will he really be against the run? Though he had 34 defensive stops. Basically stops that resulted in negative or no gains in the run game. And that's one of the higher numbers in this class. So I don't know, man. I feel like if you're looking for maybe a high floor prospect, it's Latu's going to be one of them. I got a top 20 grade on him, but I'm going with more traitsy guys. We're going to start with Alabama's Dallas Turner here at number 2, former 5-star. It's easy to see why, coming in at 6'4", 242. Yeah, lacks size. Probably needs to add a little bit more power to his frame, but he's young. He'll be 21 at the start of his NFL season, his rookie year. So I'm not worried about him putting on the weight and developing his body more. I got other hiccups with him we'll talk about in a sec, but this dude might be probably the most explosive player in this class. Like, he can turn a corner on tackles before they're even out of their stance. Like, he just has a natural feel for setting up blocks before engaging in contact and just gets them off balance, puts them on ice skates. He's kind of got a nasty Euro step. I don't know what else I would call it, man. It's just like, he's like, just moving through the line. He plays low, does a good job of turning speed into power, and he just closes space extremely quickly. Like, his pursuit speed and effort is, I think, what a lot of people love about him, because you're going to see this cat make plays 30, 40 yards down the field. Absolutely ludicrous. And he did a little bit of spot dropping and coverage there at Alabama, whether it was like playing in the flats or playing these little hook zones. So you've seen that. However, I think maybe this is something as he adds mass to his frame, but he struggles sometimes disengaging from tackles and even tight ends at some point. So, like, once stuck in engagement, he has like some serious problems, like deconstructing the block. There'll be times where he does kind of like shoot up field, get in the backfield, and kind of overrun plays, but luckily he has great pursuit speed that he quickly hunts those ball carriers down. But all in all, man, I like Dallas Turner, but I like Jared Verse a little bit more, coming in at 6'4", 260. Excuse me. He's been a my guy since last season, man. He has been a my guy. I remember during my summer evals for the 2023 class, I included him at number 10. I was like, okay, so Florida State's got this Albany transfer coming in that just blew it up at spring practice. So I'm going to highlight him. Maybe he has a big year, and he did. He had a big year. He could have probably been a top 10 pick last year. Decided to come back, try to get that natty, but we know what happened to Florida State. We know they got robbed. They got robbed at least by the chance we're getting the Natty. I don't think they would have won it, but it's neither here or there. Regardless, man, he has been really good this past season. Some people out here are like talking like he had a down year compared to last year, yet all his numbers are up. He put on more weight, became a bit better as a run defender, and honestly, that's probably my biggest thing with him. While he improved as a run defender, they're another case of sometimes, he'll shoot up field or run himself out of the play, or he'll try to evade blockers by rather than getting stuck in engagement. He just tries to get around them and just kind of plays out of his gap assignment. But I mean, a lot of that was better from 2022, though. I think that's kind of a given. What I love about this cat, he's one of the best bull rushers in this class. Like, he turns the speed into power, like, no problem. Like, the length is good, the get off is good. I think he's stupid strong. I think he added many more pass rush moves to his arsenal this past season. I love the first step, and the dude just seems unblockable. Like, he has had a pass rush win rate of over 20% now for back-to-back years. And you know what? He's jacked to the gill, man. He added some weight this year, added about 10 pounds, trying to find what's that happy spot for playing weight, and also trying to get better against the run, maybe added a little bit weight. Maybe that spot's 255, but still, man, put on a little bit more meat and he still looks like a Greek Adonis, a Greek statue. The dude is just, and he's strong enough to fight off double teams. That's the thing, man. I'm a big fan. I think his size, his length, and just his profile gives him a better or an easier projection than Dallas Turner, in my opinion, though they're both extremely close on my board. They're both top 20 prospects. They're really good. I think they're going to be the first two edges off the board, with Latu maybe on the outside looking in. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do that YouTube thing, and as always, until next time, be easy, my friends. Later.